She was only there to help her sister. But when she held that cardboard sign that said, Mr. Harrison, she had no idea she was about to meet a man who'd change her life forever. Sometimes fate doesn't knock. It lands at the airport gate. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more tales that prove love finds us when we least expect it. The night after dinner, Mia couldn't sleep. Her mind replayed every second, his smile, his stories, the way he spoke about loss like it still sat quietly beside him every day. She told herself she shouldn't see him again, that it was all a mistake. But something deep down whispered otherwise. For the first time in a long while, someone had looked at her, really looked at her, not as a nobody, but as someone who mattered. The next morning, her phone buzzed with a text. Luke. I'm heading to a meeting near Central Park. Coffee later? Her heart skipped. She typed, deleted, and typed again before finally sending, sure. They met at a small cafe near the park. Luke was dressed casually this time. No expensive suit, no walls. You showed up, he said with a smile that carried quiet relief. You make New York feel less lonely? Mia blushed, unsure what to say. They talked for hours again, about music, childhood dreams, and how strange it was that two completely different lives could meet by accident. When they left, Luke insisted on walking her home. As they stood on the steps of her apartment, the city glowing behind them, he hesitated before saying, I don't want tonight to be the last time I see you. Mia smiled faintly. It doesn't have to be. But inside, guilt started to rise. Every word between them was built on a lie. She wasn't his driver, she wasn't part of that world, and she wasn't supposed to be in his story at all. Yet every time she tried to tell him, his kindness stopped her. A week passed, and they met almost every day. Coffee runs, late-night walks, quiet dinners. Mia found herself falling for him, for the way he remembered the small things she said, for the way he looked at her like she was enough. But one evening, as she dropped him off at a meeting, she saw her sister Lena's company car parked nearby. Panic set in. If anyone recognized her, the truth would unravel. She backed away quickly, her heart pounding. That night, she sat in her tiny apartment staring at her phone. Luke had texted, I'll be flying out tomorrow. Dinner before I go. She wanted to say yes, but this time she didn't. She couldn't. She needed to walk away before everything fell apart. The next day, she drove to the airport just to watch his flight board. She saw him through the glass, tall, composed, but with eyes that still carried that quiet ache. He looked around as if searching for something or someone. She whispered to herself, Goodbye, Mr. Harrison. As his plane took off into the clouds, Mia thought it was over. The brief, beautiful mistake that had changed her heart forever. But what she didn't know was that Luke Harrison wasn't done searching, and fate, much like love, always finds a way to bring the truth home. The next morning, Mia's phone buzzed insistently on her bedside table. She blinked at the screen, groggy and still processing the previous night. The message was from an unknown number. Good morning, Mia. This is Luke. I'd like to book my favorite driver again, if she's available. Her heart skipped a beat. He knew her real name now. He knew the truth, that she wasn't a professional chauffeur. And yet, he still wanted to see her. A flutter of excitement and fear coursed through her. Could she trust this unexpected connection? They agreed to meet that afternoon in Central Park. This time, there was no pretense, no professional roles. Only two people walking slowly along tree-lined paths with coffee cups warming their hands. Luke was more relaxed, smiling easily, the tension from the night before gone. You know, he said, glancing at her, I've met hundreds of people in my life. None made me forget my phone during a meeting. Until you. Mia laughed softly, cheeks warming. the sincerity of his words touching something deep inside her. For once, she felt seen. As they wandered near the fountain, Luke opened up about his life in a way no one had before. He spoke of the struggles of building Harrison Innovations from nothing, the crushing loneliness of success, and the emptiness that followed losing his wife. Mia listened quietly, not offering advice or solutions, only empathy and attention. For the first time in years, she realized that listening, really listening, could create a bond stronger than wealth or titles. He didn't just want her company, he wanted understanding, human connection. Mia felt a rare warmth that filled her chest. Later that evening, he surprised her with an invitation. "Come as my guest to a charity gala," he said casually, though his eyes held a flicker of hope. Nervous but intrigued, Mia arrived, dressed simply yet elegantly, only to be stopped by security. "Mr. Harrison's guest is already inside," they said. Panic and confusion washed over her. Peeking through the glass doors, she saw him, perfectly poised, beside a stunning woman in a red gown. Photographers flashed around them. Her chest tightened painfully. Of course, he was a billionaire. She was just a mistake. Before she could retreat, Luke appeared, ignoring the paparazzi and hurrying to her side. "Mia, wait!" he called, breathless. She tried to mask her emotions with a forced smile. "You don't owe me an explanation," she whispered. He shook his head, taking her hand gently. "Yes, I do," he said. "That woman is part of a business partnership. But you're the first person who's made me feel alive again." Tears welled in Mia's eyes. Rain began to fall, cool and gentle, drenching them in the city glow. Luke smiled softly. "Can I start over? Properly this time?" Mia laughed through her tears. "Exactly. No lies, no titles, just Luke and Mia." And as they walked hand in hand through New York's rain-soaked streets, Mia realized, sometimes the biggest mistakes lead you to the person fate meant for you all along. If this story touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more tales that prove love finds us when we least expect it.